something great. Tell me that you feel the same. Never be afraid, I'll be there to hold you. So if you're gonna run, then run with me. If you got a drum, I've got your beat.
Good morning and welcome back. Do grab yourselves a cosy drink. Hopefully you're at home and you can settle in, because we definitely have a very wintry vlog today. I'm taking you over to a very special place. You may have seen little snippets of this place in the past, but we are going on a little journey today. Let's see what the temperature is. The temperature at the moment is 2 degrees. It's incredibly foggy today. So let's get to our destination and then I'll tell you where we are and all about what we're up to in today's vlog.
I'll be there to hold you.
It's a very, very wintry day today in England. It's foggy, it's dark, the sun has not lifted. It's 11:45, so we're coming up to lunch and it feels like a December day. How are you all? I've not seen you since Wednesday. So today is actually Thursday and I may vlog today and tomorrow because it's mid-morning already. The morning has just gone by. I've had a dentist appointment this morning and then I've been running around the house is all I can say. It's been one of those mornings today, but I'm hoping to have a lovely calm afternoon and I'm really looking forward to spending the next couple of days with you all. As you know, it feels like I'm spending the day with friends, having tea and cake. The place that we're going to this morning really is the heart of a little story that I'm looking forward to sharing with you. We've arrived and it is very, very cold. We hear that there could be some sleet over the weekend, so it's very, very much winter in Hertfordshire at the moment. The skies are white, it's very foggy, and we are fully here to embrace. Oh, someone made me jump. That was a bit scary. Oh, my heart just went in my mouth. Right, it's a very safe place here. Temperature just went up to 2.5 as I was on the journey here. So it gives you a sense of how cold it is. We are going to have a little bit of a focus over the next couple of days on the theme of love. And I don't just mean the happy, soppy couple type of love. No, no, no. I mean love in general. What does love mean? How does it make us feel? What do we love? Pets, friends, family, partners, plants. I mean, you all know how much I absolutely love, love, love my houseplants. But the reason why we are here in this destination is because there was lots of questions about how GB and I met. And I thought I would take you on a little journey of our past really, and just to show you why we love our town so much. Let's get out, show you around. I'll let you know where we are. And we'll go for a nice walk, I think, a walk and a talk, and then I'll show you around this very, very special place. Going to take a little walk through the churchyard. Seems to be some work going on. I can hear lots of work over here. Church bells are ringing. It must be 12:30. This is just a little cut through really, where we park up and then we walk through the churchyard to grab a coffee. So the story starts in this building here. This is Starbucks of Hitchin. Let's go and grab a coffee for memories. Hiya. Yeah, can I have a skinny, tall caramel macchiato, please? No, that's all, thank you. And a takeaway cup, thank you. Thanks very much. We don't very often go into a Starbucks these days. Normally it tends to be an independent. Back in the days when GB and I met, the town didn't really have very many independent coffee shops at all. Had a few cafes, but Starbucks was pretty much in prime location on the market square of our beautiful town. And I think it's just somewhere that we felt at home. We are, of course, in Hitchin in Hertfordshire, and that building there, that Starbucks, albeit a franchise, and now we drink in independence, that building is where GB and I met. This is the square here. We used to sit out of that window in Starbucks many, many years ago and look out over this beautiful market square. It's a very, very special place for us. And that's why we say Hitchin will always hold our hearts. If we go for a little walk down here, I'll tell you all about how we met. Bucklesbury, this road is. And when we get to the bottom, there's a place called the Priory. They've got a nice green area. It's a little bit quieter than town, although town is very quiet today, I have to say. Market's not on today. The market's on a Friday, and I'm guessing that's why. And of course, the weather today is probably really putting people off being out and about. Everyone wants to be inside. This is the Priory here. It's a place that does quite a lot of events during the year. We came to see Craig David here, actually. I say we, not GB and I. GB's not a huge fan of Craig David, but my sister and I had an absolute ball here. It's going to be muddy, but I am up for some mud. A muddy walk. Let's show you what it's like today, just to give you a little bit of an idea. All the trees are bare. Winter is very much here. And as I say, there could even be some more snow this weekend or into next week. Isn't this just beautiful? The last time I was down here was in the autumn, and the trees down here were very much autumnal colours. But today everywhere is still and very, very wintry. If you know GB and I, you'll know that there is a lovely backstory to how we met. And as you now know, it was in that Starbucks building. And it's a strange thing, really, because we don't tend to go in there anymore. But the whole of really where Starbucks is placed in that beautiful building, overlooking the market square, really does hold the heart and the start of our relationship. So many of you have asked how GB and I met, and I feel like today particularly is a really nice day just to reflect upon those moments and the time that we've had together, because we are incredibly lucky. I have found my soulmate, but it wasn't always like that. I'm going to share my story with you, and I would love to hear your story of how you met a loved one. I was very single at this time. I was a teacher living a very, very busy life, had planning and things like that to do at the weekend. So I would take my laptop into Starbucks and I would pretty much work there all morning, drinking coffee and having a cinnamon bun. During this time, GB was also doing pretty much the same thing on another table. He's quite insistent that he clocked me before I clocked him, and he can recall sitting, looking at the Starbucks counter, working, and then glancing up and seeing me and saying to himself that he would love the opportunity to get to know me. over weeks, we started to notice that one another was around. We'd probably started like looking at one another just to glance, not even to say hello at the beginning. Whilst this was going on, there was also a very special, still very special friendship group being formed by a group of individuals that, you know, when a coffee shop is super busy and there's nowhere to sit and someone will say, oh, you can come and sit down here, you sit on this chair, yeah, budge up, that's fine. Well, that happened with, I would say, around, I think there's around 8 to 10 of us. All I can say about that friendship group is it's incredibly special. We were all individuals who were going into the coffee shop at the same time and then started to sit together and became very, very good friends. I would say lifelong friends. In fact, they are very much chosen family who have been there for GB and I through so many things: love, loss, children, houses. There was this one day that GB joined the friendship group. So you've got to remember that we were only glancing across at one another in the coffee shop. He was working and then off he went. But because there was no room for him to sit with his laptop, as the others, he joined the group. Pretty much, if you've got nowhere to sit and you sit with this friendship group, you are friends for life. And that day pretty much changed my life, but I didn't know it yet. A couple of years went by where we remained very much as friends and we were doing things as a group. So going out for drinks, going out for dinner, going out for a lot of coffee, but never on our own. But apparently it was quite obvious that there was definitely a connection between us. The group apparently knew, possibly before we did, and the baristas knew as well. But GB and I were living our own lives. That's right, it was a half-term school holiday break. I think the February break, and it was a Thursday. And GB had randomly got a day off work and I was in the coffee shop. But because we were both on our own and we were part of the same group, we obviously decided to sit together and chit chat. Well, it was the best coffee that I ever had. And from there, we started to meet up on our own for coffee as friends. And we probably did that, I would say, for about a year. There is a little secret there in that when we were meeting, both GB and I wasn't telling anybody else, like no one else in the group, that we were going out for coffee because we wanted to soak up the time together. So by now, our friendship between us was growing really, really strong. And I felt like I was super interested in him. And apparently he was interested in me as well. So what changed from having coffee to being together? Well, I received a text message from him to say, would you like to come round for an early dinner? He said it will all be very, very relaxed. And you've got to remember that we were really good friends by now. And he said, I'll make a lovely dinner. We'll just chill out and watch some light telly. So, okay, that sounds really good, because by now we were really enjoying one another's company, and Thursdays was definitely my most favourite day of the week. Even though it was a very stressful day of the week because of staff meetings, it was the best day because I knew after work I was going to the coffee shop and meeting GB. I knew that when I went round to see him, I could be pretty much as chilled out as I wanted to be. So I was wearing, let's say, loungewear, but it was pretty much pajamas, but maybe a nice pair of pajamas, a pair of pajamas that you wouldn't mind opening the door to somebody in. Anyway, I rang on the doorbell to go in for dinner, and he opened the door and he was standing in his pajamas, ready to have dinner with me at his place very early in the evening. And as I walked towards the door, I just thought to myself, he is the man for me. And that was it. I did not leave. I have never left his side since that day. We hadn't been together very long, and we were out in town, and he reached for my hand and he said, "We will forever hold hands. Wherever we are, we will forever hold hands." We hold hands all of the time. We've been together now, how long have we been together? I think it's coming up for 14 years. Some of you refer to GB as my husband, and I have a little bit of news for you. He is not my husband. We are very much lifelong partners. He's my soulmate, and hopefully we will get married one day. It would absolutely make our dreams come true, I believe. But obviously with loss of family and life that happens, and meeting each other as we were a little bit older, there was other things that have got in the way rather than us getting married. But it is an absolute dream of mine to be his wife, and hopefully one day that will happen. But he is my soulmate, he's my best friend, and I love every single moment with him. He is the most special man I have ever had in my whole life. But he was right there under my nose pretty much for years before we got together. But it was a long time coming, and friends could see it before I could, family could see it. My sister and GB get on so well. She's also part of this friendship group, so they really did know one another before GB and I got together. I know she was absolutely delighted when I said that we were going to be together, and my mum and Jane welcomed him into our family. Mum was very anti-men, let's say, and very protective of us girls. And there was one day, GB and I had been together, say, a few weeks, and my mum knew of GB as she did with all of the group. She knew everybody. She worked in the town, so she knew everybody very well. We were driving back to where GB was living at the time, and me by now. A few weeks into our relationship, I'd definitely moved my things out of home, and I was staying put at GB's. And we were driving back, and I said, "Where are you going?" And he said, "Oh, we're going to visit your mum for a cup of coffee." And I remember thinking, you can't just turn up at my mum's house. We can't just do that. We need to give her notice that you're going to turn up. No, we're not. We're going to just go, Cher. We're going to go. We're going to have a nice cup of tea with your mum. And the whole drive, I was thinking, oh, how is mum going to take this? How is mum going to take this? Anyway, we knocked on the door, and her smile on her face told me everything. We sat, we had tea. Mum had paperwork all over the living room floor. It certainly wasn't the home that my mum would imagine meeting my future lifelong partner in, really. And when I say meeting, I mean properly having a chat and really getting to know one another. Just knew that my mum was going to welcome him into the family with open arms. And I have to say exactly the same for GB's mum and dad as well. When they met me, we got on so well. They really did mean so much to me. And our mums had a very special relationship. I remember GB's mum saying that when she met my mum for the first time, my mum danced and GB's mum sang. And they are such special memories. Such special memories. You'll know that he is quite camera shy. He doesn't mind his voice being on here, but he is quite camera shy. But let's just say he is the most supportive, kind man that there ever was. I just didn't know it was going to happen for me. I literally had given up hope of ever finding love, but I found it, and I'm very, very blessed. So because Hitchin holds our hearts so much, let's go and explore our beautiful town and then head back home. I'm just back in the car from having a lovely little mooch around town and reliving memories. My hands are so red and cold. It is bitter outside. We'll see what the temperature is in a minute when I head home. I'm going to tuck my hands into my cuffs. Ooh. Tuck my hands into my cuffs and then put them between my legs to keep a little bit warm. It is utterly freezing. Spring is not on its way today. It just isn't. It isn't. And I did say that I think we've got some snow coming. I really do think we have. It was super frosty this morning, white frost. Had I have been at home, I would have gone for a really frosty walk. But I had a dentist appointment at 9 and I was teaching as well this morning. But as I was walking back to the car, I was thinking about places that mean so much, places that shape you, places that you have fallen in love with, and when you go back to them, you can only see the beauty in those places. I would love to know about whereabouts in the world holds your heart. I am sure that Hitchin will forever hold our hearts. We have been known to leave places early so that we can have a coffee in town. And by that, I mean all places in the country. Sometimes we've been away and felt the draw just to get back to town for a coffee. So if we've been to Bath, for example, which we absolutely love, we will get up early in the morning to drive back so that we can have a quick coffee in our local town before heading home. When you think about a place that holds your heart, it tends to have deep meaning, and that is just what Hitchin means to us. I say us because it definitely means the world to GB and I, but thinking about my own roots, this is my town where I feel at home. It's got a lot of history here just for me, let alone where I met GB and where we have spent many a happy time at events that we go to every year, such as the Christmas tree light switch on, Christmas carols, summer events. Priory Park, where we were just going for that walk, has a picnic in the park every year where local schools share music. You bring along a picnic and it's just a really lovely, summery, very British event. When there's been anything royal happen, so royal weddings, for example, or coronation of the king, we would be in town. This is where we would celebrate anything like that. Walking around the town just now makes me feel like it's where I belong and I am part of the community. You often see familiar faces, you often chat to people that you know, and it will forever hold such a dear place for me. Today's video is all about all the things that we love, and I would absolutely love to hear more about the places that you love to be in, whether they be on your doorstep or a bit further afield, or is it when you travel to see family? Yeah, do tell me, let me know Where is it in the world that you love and holds your heart? Well, let's see what the temperature is like. Oh yeah, 3.5. It is very, very cold. Let's turn on the heated seats today. Wow, that's a beautiful Defender there. You won't be able to see it, but it's absolutely gorgeous. I'm sure lots of you know by now, I do have a thing with vintage Defenders, and it's a black one. And it's a long wheelbase one. If you are a lover of vintage Defenders as well, they do a vintage Defender Christmas rally run in London. I was absolutely gutted because this Christmas just gone, we were there on the Saturday and the rally was on the Sunday. We missed it by a day and it was totally my fault. I thought I had the right date and I didn't. I'm warming up slightly now. It doesn't take long to warm up the car, thankfully. But it is super, super cold. The sky is still very, very white. The fog has lifted. It did take a long time to lift. A little time check. It's just gone 2:10. But it is very, very dark. This is like a mid-December day today. I almost feel like going home and putting my Christmas tree up. Home. I always say that when I get back in, do you? I like to say out loud that I am home, and it just means so much to me to be back indoors, particularly today because it's utterly freezing outside. I think my fingers are still cold from walking around the Priory, albeit beautiful, and I'm so glad that I went and that I've been able to share that story with you. I am utterly frozen. Definitely need a coffee. It's just gone 2:30. I'm debating whether to have a caffeinated or a decaf, but I definitely need something to warm up my fingers because they are utterly frozen. As I was driving home, you may be able to see on the back wall there, the sun appeared. I didn't think it was going to come out today. It's very, very hazy, very hazy. But on the way home, just a little glimmer of sunlight appeared in the window and it was lovely. It has been so heavy with fog all day, so much so that when you're driving, you really, really need just to concentrate on the road. I mean, obviously, always we need to concentrate on the road, but you know what I mean, extra concentrate because visibility was difficult, but it has just about lifted and my goodness me, that sun coming through right now is utterly glorious. It's actually the first thing that I said to GB as I walked in. Hi love, I'm home. Second thing was, have you noticed the sun? It's really shining now. And he said, yes, I have. He sits the other side of this wall. Let's see if he'll do a little trick. I'll knock on the wall and see if he knocks back. Are you ready? We like to do that during the day sometimes. So he's there on that wall. That means hello, how are you all? So he's sitting there and the sun is just beaming through. Hello. Hi love. Do you want a cuppa?
Yeah, I love coffee.
A coffee? Decaf or caffeinated? Decaf, okay. I've just taken my hat off. And you know that weather that when you're outside, your hair goes very, very frizzy. That's how it's gone. So I thought I'm just going to put my hair up.
Does it come with any friends?
Does it come with any friends?
Yeah, it looks really lonely.
Couple of digestives?
Has it got any nicer friends? They sound like just like they're acquaintances rather than friends. Digestives are not friends.
Sometimes you can't beat a plain biscuit with a coffee.
Yeah, but they're more acquaintances. You only have them every now and again. You don't really like them, but you have them. That's more like acquaintances. Whereas if you have friends you really like.
Okay, I'll go and see what I can do.
I mean, if all you've got is acquaintances, that's fine.
I've got something that you'll really like.
Not having any special bond with them.
I don't know if you caught any of that, but I've just taken the coffee through to GB and he's just asked, does the coffee come with any friends? So I've offered digestives. I like a digestive biscuit with a cup of coffee, a nice plain biscuit. I feel like complements the coffee very well, but he feels they're more of an acquaintance and not something that he would have a relationship with. It means I need to open something from the Poundland haul that I was going to share with you in a few moments, but I'll just do this little bit now. This is the only time of year that we have these biscuits. Can anybody guess what they are? I feel like they are the biscuit of love and definitely bring joy to the heart. Anyone work out what they are? Of course, it is Jammy Dodgers, the most perfect biscuit of love. What do you think? As you'll know, I popped into Poundland and I did pick up a few little bits. There's a few sort of treats in here, really because I've gone down the Valentine's love theme. We're planning a film night probably on Saturday. We're thinking maybe a 90s rom-com or early 2000s rom-com, something that is super cozy but loving, feel-good film. When you see what I've picked up, you'll understand why I've got them, because it would be nice to sort of snuggle down and enjoy these few treats. So let's start with the bits and pieces that I've picked up food related, and then I've got a few homeware bits that I'm really impressed with, particularly the price point of them. So I'm looking over in that direction because that's where they are. Let's start with the food. I've picked up 2 little bags of chocolate love hearts covered in red foil. I was so pleased to find these in store. I've seen something online using a couple of the red foil hearts. I'll share that with you later on in today's vlog. But I did pick up a couple of bags because I thought they may work with something else that I am doing. Right, next up is on the same sort of theme. Oh my goodness me, the smell of pick a mix. Oh wow. Just imagine walking into a sweet shop. This is literally what this pot smells like. I had a little bit of an idea. I went to the pick a mix stand and I just looked along and picked out all of the red or the pink sweets. Now, I do have a confession to make. I have something to tell you, and I'm sure you know what it is. But when I was in Poundland, I did fill up this container to the top. But something happened from the store to the car park. I don't know what happened. Now the container is only half full. So I'm just going to leave that there. A bag of giant strawberries. I think there must have been something that just knew that I would start on the pick-a-mix. I just picked up the giant straws purely because they're red. I really can't wait to share this next item with you. Well, actually there's 2, but they match. And I think they're probably my most favoured things that I've picked up over in store today. How gorgeous are these little heart glasses? I love that they've got the gold rim around the outside. Just the perfect size for morning orange juice or maybe a little gin and tonic in the evening, that sort of thing. I think they're gorgeous. I absolutely love these. They were £2 reduced to £1 each. I also did pick up the paper confetti, which is biodegradable. Yes, of course, I could have easily made this confetti, but I've got a little craft that I wanted to try it later on. So just buying this confetti sort of helped me out really, so that I'm not crafting for hours and hours on end. A glass jar with an acacia wood lid. I think that this was £3, but I, as you know, love glass jars. I will reuse. I put coffee pods in them, biscuits in them, treats in them. I'm wondering if you've worked out how I'm going to use this glass jar later on. I've picked up 2 placemats. These placemats were £2.50 each, and I love the fact that they're oval. I also think these are great for when you've got guests round and you're serving up tea and cake and that sort of thing. Just to have something like this on the coffee table where you can put your tea plates, put your cake, put your knife and fork, that sort of thing. So these will work really well in our home. I love that they're made of natural material, and £2.50 each. I really was so happy when I found them and genuinely surprised that they were there. £4. A table runner here at £4 in a gorgeous biscuit colour. It has a cutout detail and feels really, really good quality. I have a lot of neutral biscuit oatmeal colours in the kitchen and in the main room, and table runners work so well for me along my coffee bar. For me, it acts as a tablecloth, and I really did need another one of these because the other one that I've got is actually a full tablecloth, and I have to sort of fold it up and up and up again to make it the right shape. The last thing I want to show you is something that I did really have to think about, my 3 words. Do I need it? Does it serve a purpose? Do I want it? And I'm thinking about texture and layering in this main bedroom. So I've picked up something. I think it will work. I'm not going to home style it today. I will probably do that on Monday. I'm thinking I need sort of a deep cleaning, day at home, clean, cook, change the beds, just to have a full-on day, maybe a little bit of home styling, looking after the plants, and I'll style this up then. I am hoping that this will look lovely in our white bedroom. I'm thinking on the bed as an extra layer. I do like to create layers on the bed. There's not a lot in this bedroom. I want the bedroom to remain a very calm, peaceful space. There's a lot of white, a few grey accents here and there, but I've picked this up for winter, coziness, hygge feel. It's also very Scandi in what I'm thinking. So let's show you what it is. It's huge, by the way. Then I'll tell you the price. It's absolutely huge. It's much bigger. Oh, hello. It's much bigger than anything that I've seen in IKEA. Not too thick. I love the back of it as well. And honestly, this feels like such good quality. I also feel like it would work really well across the bench that we have under the arch window, maybe layered up with some blankets or a cushion, or even over the sofa. But I was super impressed. Now you're going to want to know the price, and again, great price, £12. I think what we'll do now, do you know I didn't drink my coffee? It's in the kitchen. I've not drunk my decaf. That is not like me at all, is it? Wow, this sunshine. I've been reunited with my coffee and I can't believe it. The sun is, wow. I mean, it is absolutely beaming through. It won't be long and it will set. The days are definitely getting longer and the nights are getting shorter. It's 4:10 at the moment and it's still lovely and sunny. Every day there's just a little bit more light. And when the evening comes and you see this light at this time, especially on a day like today when it is super cold at 2.5 degrees, I think it got up to, you know that a spring is coming. And if you're somebody who finds the winter more challenging, seeing the sunshine like this just reminds you of beautiful summery days ahead. I'm going to start just to transform the kitchen a little bit. I've already popped up my little bunting from Tesco, really cute. I've also got those heart mugs, the biscuits and those sweets to display somewhere. But I'm thinking about something hanging. This craft is super easy, anybody can do it. You just need a range of card. I've chosen Valentine's colours, so I've got my red, I've got a light pink and I've got a dark pink. I spent £7 on card in Hobbycraft. I know that lots of you either work in education or you love crafting, so many of you will have a guillotine, but scissors work just as well. I'm going to use a guillotine today just to get a nice straight edge. A trusty old prick stick or a stapler or something to fasten the card together with. Our first step is going to be cutting the card into strips. So decide how thick you would like your strips to be. I think I'm going to go for around 1 centimetre. So let's get started first of all. just using the guillotine and being in my own little world with the sunshine coming through. I'm just thinking, do I need my glasses? Probably do for this. The sound of the guillotine reminds me of being at school. I haven't used the guillotine for quite some time actually. Do you love crafting? What's your favourite sort of craft? I love crochet, but I'm not somebody who can crochet in 3D. I'm okay with flat, but not, you know, toys and things like that, which is such a shame, because if I could make 3D toys, I'd be able to use them in Family Fun Phonics, my teaching business, but I just don't know how to do it. It's definitely something I'd love to learn. My sister and I will often have a craft weekend, so I'll take my crafting along. I'm either crocheting, sometimes I will do floral embroidery, so on a ring I will create my own flowers using French knots and daisy chain and things like that, and just create my own little meadow. It's something that I'm not particularly skilled at, but I really do enjoy doing. But that is what craft is, isn't it? It's about learning along the way. And my sister is just incredible at knitting, and she also loves crochet as well. So we will quite often have a very girly sistery weekend. We tend to put something vintage on the TV when we crochet. So programs like Birds of a Feather, or another one that we absolutely love, and I've just started rewatching it again, is Butterflies. Do you remember the sitcom Butterflies? It's about a housewife who can't cook, and she's got 2 sons and a husband. I'm not sure when it was set, to be honest. Do let me know if you know, but it is absolutely wonderful. If you're outside of the UK, I know that some of you love watching anything to do with England, and I would definitely research Butterflies if you want to see England in its old style, vintage cars, vintage fashion. I absolutely love it for vintage fashion. There's a lot of Liberty dresses involved in this series, so it's nice to see Liberty fabrics because I work with those with my vintage dress business. It's lovely. We'll have tea, coffee, cake on the go, normally something very comforting for dinner, a few treats, maybe a glass of wine. As I say, vintage telly on the go, chat, 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 because my sister and I never stop talking, and then doing our craft. Probably be doing this right into the middle of the night, knowing me. Once I get started on something, there's no stopping me, and there'll be heart paper chains everywhere. Okay, so what we want to do, really, really easy. Take your strip, fold it in half, pinch the end. These top sections bring in and glue. There you have one little heart, but we do need to make a few more of these. I'm just going to see what it's like with a stapler. I feel like this might be a little bit quicker. Putting my paper through, we're going to loop the top like so, and then staple in place. Staple in place. Perfect. Take that out. Now we have 2 hearts. Let's keep going. My paper chain is coming on. I'm so happy with this. It's definitely going to brighten up the kitchen, and I think you can see how much children would love to engage in an activity like this. A few mindful moments spent. I've got a question for you. So, takeaway people. Name 5 things that you love in life. So I would say I love, mine aren't in any particular order. Houseplants, 1, coffee, 2, reading, 3, walking, 4, and 5 would be dresses. They are 5 things that I love in life. Valentine's Day doesn't need to just be about another person. It can certainly be about finding love in the everyday things that you enjoy and just spending time doing those things. This is how long it is so far. Isn't it fabulous? I absolutely love it. And it already just makes me feel happy. And isn't that what life is all about? Finding happy moments. As I say, once you get started on this, I feel like it could become quite addictive. Good morning, it's now Friday. I wasn't up last night doing this for the whole night, but I did have a little incident with the stapler. It decided to break on me, so we're using glue now. Takes a little bit longer with the glue to set, but that's fine because I've got a lot to chit chat about. Definitely longer than it was when you last saw me, but I've still got a little bit more to do, but I think this is going to look so beautiful. There really is something about creating something homemade for the home. It just helps to make a warm, loving environment. I think it's a lovely thing to show your home that you love it. And making homemade decorations is just one of the ways that I like to make my home feel loved. It's like a little nod, really, to say that you appreciate what you've got and a roof over your head, and just showing a little bit of love makes coming home even more special. I thought we were going to wake up to another frost this morning. It was 2.5 degrees at 6:45 today, and I know that because I was on the train station run today, not only for GB, but for my wonderful eldest stepson. They were both going into London together. Happened to be that they were working just a few moments away from one another. So I was on train station duty this morning, and I'm sure I will be on train station duty later on. Yesterday I talked about how I met GB and the little story behind that. But one very key aspect that I didn't say about yesterday, because yesterday was just about GB and I, but was the fact that when I met GB, I didn't just meet him. He has got 2 incredible sons who are adults now, and I love them both very, very much. They are very protective of me and caring. I mean, they are terrible at taking the mickey out of me and bantering with me, but they are the first to open the door for me, help me up out of my chair, put my coat on, give me a hug. And that connection with them will never, ever leave me. I am so thankful that it's worked out the way it has. I've known them since such a young age. When their dad and I were friends, I knew them then, and our relationship as a family probably was built up in those very, very early stages. My eldest stepson has told me that when he knew that his dad and I were dating, let's say, and making a go of being together, he just knew that it felt right. And hearing that from your stepson is just incredible. I'm not here to take the place of their mum. They already have a wonderful mum, but I am here to be a very strong family figure that they can trust, can chat to, can spend time with. And I honestly feel so incredibly lucky to have not only GB in my life, but to have gained two amazing stepsons. That connection with them will never, ever leave me. I am so thankful that it's worked out the way it has. It's a big decision to take on when you meet somebody if you haven't got your own children and they have. But it all just felt right, and it felt right for everyone. Oh my goodness me. What an emotional moment. That was quite deep, but today's vlog is all about love, and I think it's important to share that love comes in so many different forms, in friendships, in family, in children, in partners, in pets, in hobbies, in looking after your home, in flowers, in plants, in food, and so much more. Well, as we know, Valentine's Day is just around the corner, and GB has said that we'll be going out at some point over the Valentine's weekend and just to have a nice dress ready. And by nice dress, that means wear something that you want to wear, Cher. Something glam if you want to wear something glam, or something cash if you want to wear something cash. You know exactly what I'm going to say. It's the most perfect opportunity to wear a dress that I absolutely love. And the feeling of love around dresses is huge. As you know, I own a vintage dress company, so I've always been a dressy girl. Having my vintage dress collection just at my fingertips and being able to wear something from the collection for our meal out just makes me feel incredibly excited. I have selected 3 dresses to show you. The first dress coming up is my own, but you can find it in store and in a variety of different colours. I'll tell you more about that once I've got changed into it. The second 2 dresses are yet to be released into store, so they are new stock, but I thought I may be able to get a little wear out of them before they go into store. So let's start up with dress number 1. This is a vintage Laura Ashley pure red velvet fit and flare dress. I've come a little bit closer because this dress has the most stunning back. I'm going to do a little twirl and then you can just see why I love this dress so much. Isn't it absolutely fabulous? So the back of this dress has a bow. You cannot go wrong with a dress with a bow on the back. I always feel like there is such an elegance to wearing a very girly fit and flare dress. I've teamed it with some vintage shoes. Let me just take them off. You may have seen these on a recent vlog actually. They are my black suede Carvela shoes and they have a beautiful detail perfect for Valentine's Day. This little heart on this vintage pair of shoes is just incredibly dreamy. Let's pop these shoes back on again. If this is the dress that I decide to wear for our evening meal out, I would probably sort of scrape my hair, maybe back somehow, and twist it a little bit and make sure that I've got some bits framing my face. But because the dress has got the most beautiful puffy sleeves and sweetheart neckline, I feel like having my hair down hides the beauty of the neck detail. But as soon as you lift or move your hair out of the way, you can then see just how gorgeous the top section of this dress is. But before I change this into my next outfit, I wanted to say that it is available in store in a UK size 12. It's also available in black. Love the black. I wore a black one to a black tie wedding event and it was just so classic. I mean, incredibly classic. Couldn't really go wrong with a black velvet bow back dress. It's also available in a forest green and I showcased that dress when I put my Christmas tree up. Yes, I'm one of those girls who will dress up to put my Christmas tree up. It started in lockdown and it's one of those things now that I do every single year, and I make a whole day of which dress am I going to wear, and I like to feel fabulous when I put my tree up. This would make a great Christmas dress as well, but perfect for Valentine's Day because it's that rich red. Another bonus about this dress is it has a hip pocket, and I always feel like there's something about an evening dress with a hip pocket. You know you've got excellent quality if your dress has a pocket. I'm going to do one more little back turn for you just so that you can see how beautiful the bow is. And one last little spin just because I'm wearing a fabulous dress and want to, and I'm going to go and put the second dress on. So second dress is from the 1980s and again it's fabulous. It's not gone into store yet but will be. I have tried this dress on once before. GB was at home and he immediately fell in love with this dress that I'm about to show you. So let's try it on and see what you think. Here's the next dress, an absolutely stunning black velvet off the shoulder. It's got a beautiful rose in the middle. I'll show you that close up in a moment. It's got a netted underskirt, so it really has the hourglass shape. Let's walk a little bit closer just so that you can start to see some of the detail on this dress. I love to twirl in a dress because when you twirl, you feel how much fabric there actually is to the skirt section. So let's give this one a go. I love twirling. I just love twirling in dresses. So, oh wow, this one feels very, very glamorous. As I mentioned, the dress itself has got an underskirt section. So it means that the dress shape just fits so beautifully. I feel like this could be an absolute contender. The red one, the one previous, I love. Did I wear that red one over Christmas? I can't remember, but I know I haven't worn this one because it's brand new into my collection. So it would be a great opportunity to wear this before it goes into store. And it will be going into store, I think, over the next couple of weeks. I think I've told you numerous times that I love a dress or a blouse or something with shoulder detail or big puffy sleeves, and this one definitely ticks the shoulder detail. You can see the ruching detail. I love how it just sits off the shoulder there, and it's quite comfortable. It's not going anywhere. I could dance, I could move around, and the dress will definitely stay in place. I'm just having a quick look in the mirror there. I'm just trying to decide which one I like the best out of the red and the black. This one is actually a UK size 10 and I am a normal UK size 12. So it is a little bit snug, but I feel that if I'm wearing pull-me-in pants, it should be okay. I think once the zip's done up, it fits, and I'm not wearing a bra. Sometimes I use that as a little tip, especially with vintage dresses, because they're very well structured and you often don't need to wear one. There's something special about wearing a vintage dress. My love for vintage is incredibly strong. I have loved vintage dresses for many, many years. And when I first started my collection, this was before I owned a vintage dress shop. I think I had over 125 dresses, and I certainly don't have that many dresses that I own now because they are part of the vintage dress collection. I will occasionally, as I've said before, I will occasionally showcase a dress. It's great advertising because I've mentioned that if I wear a dress out, I often get asked where it's from. The conversation then about vintage dress shop does sort of come up, and then they will say, well, can I buy that dress from you? And I would say yes. So there is something about showcasing your collection when you're out and about, but my love for vintage dresses and vintage fabrics is very, very, very strong. And the pure wools, the silk, the velvet, the texture of this dress is just stunning, and you don't really see anything like this on the high street these days. As you can see, they're just too beautiful not to be worn. It's a little piece of history, and I often wonder, what has that dress been up to in the past? Has it been a good dress? Was the dress worn on a first date or an engagement party? Was it worn as part of a honeymoon collection? There's something dreamy about wearing something from the past, and I love to pass that piece of history on to the next customer. I've got one more dress to show you. The next dress I love. I have had a friend who has bought this dress before from my collection. She still very much has that dress and loves it. I think she may have had it altered actually, because she fell in love with it so much, but the sizing wasn't quite right, so she had it altered. When the dress arrived that I'm about to show you, I tried it on, as I always do with the dresses. First of all, I love to know what they look like, and it's a great way to test an outfit. Does the zip work? Is there any holes or anything? Because I often iron them and things like that before I try them on. I like to know what I'm dealing with. Is it something that I really want to put in the shop? Anyway, GB was home that day and I put this dress on, and he looked at me and just said, please don't sell that dress, Cher. And I have to say, he does say that a lot about the collection. I have always been somebody who loves dresses, and I think that he loves me wearing a very, very feminine dress. And this next one is an absolute showstopper. So let me go and try it on, and then I need to decide which one to wear for Valentine's. It may be that GB just needs to take me out 3 times. This is the last dress that I'm going to share with you today. I love the shape of this one. The very pencil fit. This one's got the fan detail on the side. It just helps to give me a little bit of movement. Now, I've got a couple of tips when it comes to wearing vintage dresses. First of all, I always wear a pair of pull me in pants, particularly if it's something that is going to nip me in at the waist. And that is because it will just give such a smoother line across my waist area. In this dress, I feel a little bit more sexy, I would say. I'm not too sure that I would wear this for dinner unless I had a beautiful cardigan on. I can imagine a beautiful, fluffy, black ballerina short waist cardigan that would just look fabulous, and again, very, very feminine. If you have a cardigan that finishes there, for me, my hips is my widest part. I don't want a cardigan to draw to that area, but if it finishes at my waist, you can still see the shape of the dress. As much as I absolutely adore this dress, and I really, really do, it does feel a little bit more cocktails, night out, having a few drinks, more standing than sitting. I like to have some special detail across my shoulders, across my arms if I'm sitting having dinner, something that's eye-catching. And if I was having a meal, the whole focus of this dress is really at the bottom, particularly with the fan detail. So will be either dress number 1 or dress number 2. I'd love to know your thoughts on which dress you like the best. Do you like dress number 1, the vintage Laura Ashley red velvet with a low bow at the back? Or do you like dress number 2, the velvet off the shoulder dress with the 3D rose at the front? Or do you like this dress the best, the pencil fit dress with the fan detail? Do let me know. I would love to know your thoughts. If you love fashion, if you love dresses, And if you love vintage, do come over and say hello. I'll pop my Instagram up somewhere, and if you are ever interested in looking to see what else is in the collection, you can go through Instagram and click straight through into Etsy. I will pop a link into the description as well of the shop, just so you can do a very quick click through if you wish. Well, I am super happy with that heart paper chain bunting. It's really, really bright. We don't normally have a lot of bright things at home. I think I can probably cope with it because it's just for a few days, but it really does lift this cozy kitchen, particularly today. It's the greyest of days today. It is still raining and very, very grey out there. And I thought I would create a nice kitchen cozy breakfast bar area ready for the weekend. I was just thinking about films for our film night. We absolutely love to watch a rom-com. I'm so pleased that GB is somebody who enjoys that sort of film. I think his favourite film is probably The Holiday. He absolutely loves The Holiday. We watched that over Christmas. Obviously, I love it too. We also watched Love Actually over Christmas. So I don't really want a festive film because I feel like we've done all of those. I'm thinking something that's very classic and fun, and 4 Weddings and a Funeral is from the 90s. It's very, very British. It's a great, great film, and I'm wondering whether that might be the one that we watch. What is your favourite rom-com? A rom-com that makes you feel really, really good. Of course, we all have Bridget Jones coming out, the new one. My best friends and I are already planning that in. We've got to go to the cinema. We've got to be together. We've watched them all the way through. But even watching the older Bridget Jones, just such classic British rom-com escapism. So if you haven't seen any of those films that I've mentioned, 4 Weddings and a Funeral, Pretty Woman, Bridget Jones, I mean, there is so many. Notting Hill is a great film, one of my favourites as well, and GB loves Notting Hill, but I feel like we've watched that recently as well. I'm going to see what this little table runner's like along here. It's looking so nice so far, very, very cozy, and I think we're going to enjoy this little space over the weekend. I've just grabbed the iron because I've seen something online and I want to give it a go. Do you remember me saying earlier on in the vlog that I needed the little red foil hearts? Well, this is what I need them for. So for this activity, you will require 2 white square napkins. So these are from IKEA, 4 for £4. I'm just going to iron out any initial creases. It's definitely best if you do that first. Now, if you wanted to, you could make a huge one of these. I am going to make mine smaller. I've placed my napkin down in a diamond shape and I've got my open areas at the bottom. I'm going to close in one side, press those down, sharp crease. I'm going to lift the bottom up and I'm going to press it again. top, down, over. Going to press it again. The kitchen's ready for a super cozy weekend ahead. I think that we will be using this little setup probably all weekend. Breakfast, lunch and dinner, we'll probably sit here and just enjoy this little cozy nook that I've created. I was thinking about something that GB always has said to me, and it's a little phrase that's stuck with me since we've been together. And I thought you may like to know what it is. Some of you may know this phrase already. This phrase isn't just about being in a relationship. It's about all things that you love, all things that are important to you, whether that be a partner or a friend or a pet or your houseplants or your craft or your baking. I think that this phrase fits it all. And that is, love is as love does. And it took me a moment when GB told me this many years ago to really understand what that means. But over time, I've definitely understood that the meaning of love is as love does is all about nurturing your relationship with whatever it may be, your houseplants, your pets, your partner, your cooking. If you can love and care for and nurture and look after the thing that you love, whether that be a human or something else, the more that you put into your relationship, the more that you get out of it, because you see joy in the simple little things. And GB and I have always said this right from day one. We are not fussed about the big gestures, big gifts, the big signs of love. We are more interested in the first cup of coffee in the morning or creating something for the other person. I know that when GB gets in from work, I can see his face right now, but I know that he will really, really appreciate it. And it is very, very true. Love is as love does. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please do keep in touch. I honestly love hearing from you. I love hearing about where your corner of the world is. Have you got any plans this weekend? What's the weather like? And what's cooking for dinner? I love to know all of those things and so much more. So please do keep in touch. I will see you all again on Wednesday at 12 noon. So take care and I will see you then. Bye for now.